I'm going to be completely honest with all of you. Going into my week 1 matchup in the BBR, because this was not the team that I'm going to have for the remainder of the season. If you guys might have seen my draft analysis, I am still forced to use the pre-transactions version of my draft for week 1 because it's really the fair thing for my week 1 opponent, because he would have otherwise only had like 3 days or so to prep for this match if I did use my post transactions version of the team, which we are facing JBWestSide, coach of the Las Vegas Cinderace. Check him out. His channel link will be down below, as well as my post week 1 draft analysis, I guess at this point you could say, and the link to all the coaches for season 1 here. So I'm gonna be transparent with y'all. Me and JB have been trying so hard for a few days at this point to try and link up and get this match done. I've either had something going on, or my powers went out, or we just haven't been able to connect. So I've done so many different trades. Like, I've already recorded a team builder, but I ended up changing some sets, so I'm recording another team builder in hopes that we can play tomorrow after I'm off work. So yeah, hopefully that'll be the time. Like, we're already overextended for our week 1 deadline, but just if you guys enjoy this, a like would be greatly appreciated, as well as a like on the actual battle itself, which will be going up tomorrow. So looking at the team preview here, as you can see, this is not the team that I mentioned in my draft analysis. No, this is the pre-transactions version of this team, and I figure I'm just gonna lose this match. So yeah, that would explain my intro. Like, I'm 100% honest, I'm not winning this. So I really didn't spend too much time on this build. Now, this is not going to be how I will be approaching every other week in the season. It's just week 1, and JB's draft is actually kind of terrifying. This dude has Zeraora, Kyurem, Primarina, Talonflame, Krookodile. Those 5 Pokemon alone, as soon as I saw them paired up against my team, I was like, yeah, I don't care. I'm gonna lose week 1. It's fine. I'll just win every other week, essentially. So yeah, first team member here, because there wasn't that much thought process put into most mons for this team, and because in my opinion everything kind of seemed obvious that I had to bring, like, I need to bring Rotom Heat, otherwise Krookodile puts me in the ground. If it doesn't have rock coverage, Talonflame absolutely bodies me. I can still check the Zeraora potentially. Kyurem can't really hit me outside of Draco Meteor, which is gonna have to carry regardless, but I guess I could bring like Melmetal for that, or maybe Delibird. No, who drafts Delibird? I'm waiting for you guys to comment who drafts Delibird. But no, yeah, I figured that Rotom Heat was kind of like the first option I really needed to bring to this match. I think I ended up changing my EV spread from more of a defensive set to kind of having more especially offensive prowess, but going with the bold nature so I can still do some pretty good damage while also being able to tank physical hits from the Zeraora or Talonflame if needed. The speed is enough for a timid non-scarf Primarina, although I guess that's kind of reaching, but it's kind of a safe zone otherwise. Regardless though, if I do get up a nasty plot at +2, Overheat is absolutely murdering everything besides the Primarina. But if I do predict the Primarina to come in, then at +2 Discharge is doing ridiculous damage, as well as Discharge being able to be very spammable once Krookodile is gone. I fully expect the top 6 Pokemon to come to this game. Like, Espeon, I guess, kind of has some merit. The Gourgeist, I really don't think is gonna come because of Scyther, which is, I mean, it gets dual Wing Beat, but I don't really see the hype behind Scyther outside of that. And then Rotom already beats it 1v1. Starmie bops it with Ice Beam, and then Obsidian smacks it with Knockoff. Hitmonlee and Mawile, I 100% do not expect to come to this game whatsoever. Like, yeah, Mach Punch Hitmonlee could be really annoying, but at the same time, I have Starmie, Amoonguss, and Runerigus and Slurpuff even, and Scyther honestly, which all just kind of stop Hitmonlee. So I don't expect that. And then Mawile, I don't really know why he would bring Mawile. Like I can status it or knock it out or something. So yeah, those 2 months I don't expect. So I figured Nasty Plot, Pain Split, Dual Stab, Rotom was really good this matchup. Moving on to our next team member here, we have John Cena with the 5 Knuckle Shuffle, aka the Double Iron Bash. And originally, so we were supposed to play Friday night if I'm not mistaken, but unfortunately my power went out because of a storm going on. So we didn't play that night, and then the next day I looked over my matchup, I looked over my team, and I was like, hey, maybe Assault Vest Facade would be better over sub 3 attacks with leftovers. So I ultimately decided to just go with this set as opposed to the original set that I had. I am max Spadef to be able to tank any type of special hit from the Primarina or the Kyurem, because the way I had built the team, I really didn't have a good answer to Kyurem. So I figured that I should probably make my Melmetal one of my answers to Kyurem. I don't think he's going to want to bring Specs. Like sub also doesn't make sense because I do have the Double Iron Bash, but Melmetal more or less should be able to safely check Kyurem in my opinion, and this can also act as a pseudo backup check to Primarina and the Espeon, which I don't expect Espeon, but I guess it could potentially come. Regardless though, Facade was put over Substitute just on the off chance that his Talonflame is Flame Body and I get burned. So outside of Talonflame and Mawile and I guess Gourgeist, Facade is able to do more damage than what Double Iron Bash would be doing if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly from the calc. So that's pretty good. Rock Slide literally only for Talonflame, and then Earthquake is really only for Zeraora. Like it hits Mawile too, but I don't expect Mawile. So yeah, Rock Slide, Earthquake, Double Iron Bash, and Facade can do so much damage to JB's team. If he doesn't burn me, then I'm perfectly fine with that. Regardless though, I can tank hits, do damage, and that's all I really want Melmetal to do. So moving on to our next mon here, we have the Dead Man, aka the Dead Mon, aka the Rip Mon, in Runerigus here. And I kind of messed around with the set for a little bit, so I knew I definitely wanted Stealth Rocks, Trick Room, and Poltergeist. Trick Room literally only for Melmetal, because in Trick Room with the proper predictions Melmetal can put in so much work. And then Stealth Rocks because they're Stealth Rocks. If for some reason Talonflame is not heavy duty boots, then it's losing 50% of its HP, but even then my opponent's team is still going to be taking that nice chip damage. And then Poltergeist, if my opponent doesn't have any Pokemon without an item, is going to be doing some really good damage, because I decided just to go with max attack, and I figured that an Impish Nature was nice for body press, because I think with him having Crocodile, him switching into Crocodile makes so much sense in my opinion. And in that aspect, I don't really want to go directly for a body press, so I want to go ahead and get out my Stealth Rocks immediately, because his removal is not necessarily the best. I don't expect him to bring Hitmonlee because we have so many answers for him. I don't expect the Espeon because, again, like Melmetal alone can deal with it. Obstagoon, if I'm a very speedy Scarf set, can deal with it, or Scarf Scyther or Scarfed Ditto can deal with an Espeon accordingly. So I don't expect him to bring any type of really good removal, but I do expect the Crocodile, which is why I think that's going to be his main switch into this. So with Mental Herb, I can still live a knockoff, but if I'm in the position of where I bring in my Runerigus on Crocodile, knowing I can live a hit and he wants to try and go for Taunt, then I can still either go for my Trick Room or get up my Stealth Rocks, and then from there potentially go for a body press if I'm in Trick Room, or bring in Melmetal and just try and do as much damage as possible. So yeah, Mental Herb in my opinion was a little bit better than something like Cobra Berry, even though yes, it does weaken the damage from Crocodile. If he is Taunt Crocodile, then I would still rather have the options to get up Rocks or get up Trick Room, because in the end that's going to help me more than my Runerigus taking less damage. Even if I am intimidated, body press is still going to do really good damage to the Crocodile, which in itself is really amazing. So our next team member here is going to be Amoonguss, rocking a bulky mixed assault vest set. And the nice thing about this spread is that I can consistently switch into Primarina, which is the main reason why I have this set. If I'm at full HP, I can still tank a hit from the Kyurem. I can check the Zeraora very well, and I could potentially live a hit from Espeon depending on if it's like purely offensive with Psyshock or Psychic, which might actually not be that bad because Sludge Bomb could get a poison, or I can knock it out and kind of go from there. But Dual Stab hits a lot of his team. Clear Smog is there for something, I guess, like Dragon Dance Kyurem. Like, again, I don't expect sub Kyurem, mainly because I have double Iron Bash, so I'm not concerned about that. But Clear Smog is nice, I guess, for a setup version of it, and then I guess it does kind of help against like Swords Dance or bulk up Talonflame to ensure it's just not really boosting against me. And I guess at the same time it does help against the Hitmonlee if it is bulk up. So yeah, Clear Smog is just there for any type of setup. And then Foul Play was just kind of filler because obviously I can't run a status move like Spore or Stun Spore. I really didn't know what else to put, so I just kind of put Foul Play. So yeah, just a really bulky mixed defensive pivot, and that's really all I want Amoonguss to do in this matchup. So our next team member here is going to be a very defensive Starmie with a Rocky Helmet, and this is more or less my main switch in to the Talonflame. Now, a setup Talonflame is a little bit scary, but if he's Gale Wings Heavy Boots setup, as long as he's not in Gale Wings range, then I'm honestly not that concerned about it because I have ways of revenging it. Like Rotom Heat alone already deals with it, and our last Pokemon is also able to deal with it as long as it's not at 100% HP and in Gale Wings range. So that's what Starmie ultimately fulfills for this team, is that it should always guarantee that Talonflame is never ever ever at 100% HP for Gale Wings to be active, and that in itself is really amazing. Scald is absolutely free against his team. Yeah, he has Primarina and Gourgeist, but if I burn either one of those and I'm able to get up Stealth Rocks, they're switching in, taking 12% from Rocks, taking 6% from Burn, and that in itself is still really handy. Dazzling Gleam is basically only for the Kyurem. If it's a super bulky Kyurem with Substitute, I don't break sub, but as I mentioned earlier, I have double Iron Bash on Melmetal, which is obviously something I'm going to always bring. So I don't expect his Kyurem to be sub, so without any special attack investment, I can still do good damage to that. And then Scald basically hits everything else. I can do Analytic Flip Turn potentially, and just, yeah. Moving on to our final team member, we have Choice Scarf Obstagoon. Now this is very interesting because yes, he does have Mawile and Gourgeist, but again, I don't expect either of those two Pokemon to come, and I don't expect them to want to bring Mach Punch Hitmonlee because we have so many answers for all three of those Mons. So I figured that, okay, if he doesn't bring either of those three, or even if he brings one of the three, we can kind of play around it and then go from there. But besides that, with Choice Scarf here and this EV spread, we're able to outspeed the entirety of his team unless he has Choice Scarf Zeraora, Choice Scarf Kyurem, Gale Wings Talonflame, or Choice Scarf Talonflame. I guess Choice Scarf Crocodile, but Scarf Crocodile in this matchup really doesn't make any sense with us having Scyther, even though I'm not going to bring it, but alongside that, Rotom Heat as well. And then if it's Scarf, it can't really break through Amoonguss either for like max defense, max HP. So Scarf Crook makes absolutely zero sense, essentially is what I'm trying to say. So I figured that Adamant Scarf Reckless Obstagoon here would be absolutely amazing. I was debating on whether or not I wanted to make this Adamant or Jolly, but I figured Adamant would ultimately be better just to be able to do that extra little bit of damage. Parting Shot for momentum, Knockoff for secondary stab and getting rid of items. And then my final move was a debate between, I think, Fire Punch, Body Slam, or Facade. Fire Punch was really only for Mawile, but I don't expect it anyways, so I figured I could kind of forego Fire Punch and go either Body Slam or Facade. Facade would be nice if I expect him to burn me with a Talonflame, or if I expect to be burned by Flame Body Talonflame if I were to go for knockoff or double edge. But I figured that Body Slam might be just a little bit better, because if I don't get status, then I can still spam Body Slam for paralysis while not having to risk taking any type of recoil damage. So yeah, with that being said, guys, that is our squad for week number 1. Again, I don't really think we're gonna win this, honestly. Like, JB's team is absolutely disgusting. So yeah, I mean, if we start the season off 0-1, it's not the worst thing ever in my opinion, but it would be nice to get the win. So we'll see how things go. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to turn that thumbs up button down below. With that being said, I will see you all tomorrow on a Saturday with the actual battle video itself. And yeah, thank you for watching. Later, everybody.
My brain and heart are both tied in a knot, and this hinders me from crying a lot. This causing me to show no emotion. But when I said I cared, I wasn't joking. But I guess it's too late for me to become broken. For now, I'm living with no more pain, tears, or hoping. I'm just coasting. Yeah, I said I'm coasting. No more pain, tears, and hope.